Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. It is Sunday, July. Oh, what is the date? Why is Mac, Apple, accessibility, Sunday, July 26th. I've spent so much time trying to figure out how to adjust the contrast and the accessibility settings on the Mac desktop. I cannot read it. It's too small. There's not enough contrast. Aren't they like $1 billion company? They can't figure this out. They don't have anybody who does accessibility for the operating system. I'm just saying, okay, welcome. How's it going? My name is Angela. I am a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm a little fired up this morning for no particular reason. I'm also running a little bit late. I do apologize. I should have started a half an hour ago. It is what it is. How is everybody doing? How's it going? It is really, really hot here. I know it's not a competition. I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. I know it's not a weather competition, index competition, but it's very, very warm here. Excuse me, like hot and humid. How warm is it? Let's check. We're not used to this here. It's already 87 degrees. I know, that's laughable, especially if you live in a warmer climate, which I know some of you do. It's going to be 98 today. It's just very unusual for us here in Minnesota. The heat doesn't bother me so much. It's the humidity that I don't love because the air just feels so thick. So there's that. Yeah, and the air conditioner is working overtime. Anyways, how's it going? Pretty excited to get this wrapped up here today. This is our YouTube transcript database. So if you're new here, first of all, welcome. We really just practice vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on this channel. I don't of course I use frameworks and libraries. I don't practice them on this channel because I think vanilla is important and I want to emphasize the importance of vanilla. That's really the main reason that I do it. I also happen to really enjoy it. And there's no shame in that. You know, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, those are the three things that the browser renders natively. There is nothing wrong with learning those things, being good at those things, enjoying those things. There is nothing wrong with that. So I also think it's a great way for beginners to get started in front-end development. I think it can be very overwhelming. I think, you know, picking a framework, library, even understanding what those things are. Imagine being a new front-end developer and being told, just use Tailwind. How would you ever develop any kind of understanding of CSS if all you ever used was Tailwind or Bootstrap or Foundation? I understand why why libraries and frameworks are used in large enterprise level organizations or even just to streamline production. I totally get it. But I'm here to tell you that if you spend your entire career in Tailwind or Bootstrap or Foundation, I do not believe that you will ever develop a deep understanding of CSS and how the browser really works. Just my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, go ahead and let me know. I don't think I am. Anyways, we do vanilla because I enjoy it. Certainly in my professional life, I obviously use frameworks and libraries because I understand how the real world works. So this little project is called a YouTube transcript database. I do have the GitHub repository linked down in the description. The app itself will remain private though. What I started doing several weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, is I started transcribing all of my live streams. So I stream 2 to 3 days a week, sometimes more. My streams tend to be 2 to 3 hours in that ballpark. I started transcribing the live streams and using codecs to write my descriptions, write me titles for the replays that were specific to what we actually did in the replay, chapter markers, things like that. Then I started thinking like, wow, I could, then I don't even know how this idea evolved. It happened very quickly. It happened in an evening where it evolved into I think I'm going to build a database with my transcripts that I could search and mine for my own information. The words that I speak, the things that I talk about in a live stream. I started writing an ebook on accessibility. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to go to ChatGPT and say, write me an ebook on accessibility. No, that's not how I do it. I've been doing this for 13 years. I can write the ebook on accessibility, but think about the information that's captured in 2 years of live streaming, hundreds of hours of content that I've created on YouTube that I could mine that information from and help organize it. It was just too good of a project to not do. And so that's what we did, and it didn't take us that long. I mean, I have a lot of experience in front-end development. I've built many filters. I've been a web developer, front-end developer on the marketing side of software engineering and web development my entire career. At my last job at the University of St. Thomas, I mean, we were just dripping with data. We used Salesforce. We had dozens of custom APIs. And everything was like a filter. How can we make this information easy to get for our students, undergrad, grad, all the schools, all the colleges, all the program certificates, clubs, organizations, what have you. Lots and lots of filtering. So I have a lot of experience with filter. I have a very clear idea of how I believe information should be presented. I'm very good at requirements gathering. I can tell right away when a filter isn't doing what it should be doing. So for me, once I got an idea of how the database would be structured and I came up with sort of that version 1 of how I wanted the filter to function, I could tell within a day that it wasn't filtering the way I needed it to, and that we had to add. We went from, well, we didn't change. We went from excerpts and then we added also filtering on titles. So we're doing two things. So we're doing a keyword search for the transcript excerpts themselves. Then I decided, no, we also need to do the titles. And I don't know, it just started to flow from there and it was very natural. And within a week, I'm talking what, 5 or 6 days, 2 or 3 hours at a time of going back and forth with ChatGPT, getting help with the prompts, prompting codecs. Boom, we had a database. And now I'm doing the front end myself because I am a front end developer and I enjoy front end. And I don't I don't want AI to vibe code entire apps for me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, but because I enjoy front end and I have no desire to do the back end myself, I feel very empowered and very emboldened to use AI to build these back ends. And the fact that I do have so much experience and I do understand how to write requirements, I understand how to QA, I know how to test, I know when the functionality isn't quite right. And here's the thing, it's one thing to not know that the functionality is right. It's another thing to know why it's not right and how to ask for it to be different. I do think that that's the thing that is going to set aside the new vibe coders, the people who are brand new to engineering and learning this for the first time, and the really experienced software engineers and developers and people like myself who've been doing this for a long time. We can recognize that something isn't right and we know what it is and we know what to ask for in order to correct it or make it better, right? That's the really cool thing right now about vibe coding. So I regret that I didn't take it seriously for a really long time. I didn't take it seriously. Well, maybe a year, a few months. I mean, long enough that I'm regretting that I didn't take it seriously. And now I'm just like, better late than never, because it's fun. It is really fun. I can execute now my ideas for full stack apps, and I don't have to spend hours, days, weeks building out a back end. Quite frankly, writing code I have no interest in writing. I don't care about databases. I don't care. I just don't want to write SQL queries. That's not what I want to do. Um, yeah, super fun, super fun. So there's that. Okay, let's get the chat ready. Malik Robinson is here. Malik is our mod in the chat. He keeps an eye on me. He keeps an eye on you. He makes sure that everybody's having a good time. Let's see here. And Malik says, good choice on the update video. Yeah, I really enjoyed honestly talking about that yesterday, which is I did an life update video, which is really just a clip from the end of yesterday's live stream where I talked about some of my eBay and Facebook Marketplace adventures over the last several months. So if you're interested in that type of thing, go check it out. I had an email this morning that we sold some yarn. Speaking of which, let's see. I think I know what it is that we sold, but let's check it out. This is so interesting that this is what I sold. Oh, let's go back. No, we have to go back to orders. This right here. It's not bad yarn at all. This yarn I got at a fiber festival a couple years ago. It's mulberry silk superwash yarn. The texture of the yarn is very pretty. It's very nice. I don't think it's like the prettiest dye job I've ever seen, but beauties. Oh, whoops, you can't see my screen. Gosh darn it. Here it is. So this is the yarn that I sold this morning. This will go out in the USPS tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm excited that I sold this. It's not my favorite yarn, which is why I'm selling it. This was like a clearance bin yarn that I bought at a fiber festival 2 years ago, and it was an absolute impulse purchase because it was probably really inexpensive. So happy that it is going to a new home. So I'm very happy that somebody bought it and is now going to love it in its new home. So we'll get that out in the post tomorrow. And let me see here. Football, FC ball so hard. I football club, foot no wait, FC. I feel like I'm on an episode of Reno 911 when they're trying to read the personalized license plates. FC ball so hard. That's what I'm going with. Smart move applying AI to accelerate your workflow. Thank you. The one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I know I've said this before. I don't think it can be understated though. I simply, after 2+ years of using ChatGPT, I just didn't take agentic workflows seriously. I was basing that decision on the copying and pasting that I'd been doing back and forth with ChatGPT and what a miserable experience that was. That copying and pasting, it was rough. And if you have seen any of my earlier streams, you could see how painful that was. So I just wasn't taking the process seriously. And then I did a couple of videos in May talking about it. And I had some pretty critical comments, people saying like, you're not really you need to pay attention to this. Like, you need to look at this a little closer, or you could really have some consequences in your career if you don't. And I was like, okay, fair. So I had some client work at the time, and I know I've already told this story, but it was just such a good experience where I was migrating some legacy apps from a 10-year-old tech stack to an updated tech stack, and I used Codex to do it, and the client was all on board with it. They were like, yeah, go for it. And it could not have been a better experience using Codex. And yeah, the last month has been very transformational for, I mean, I hate to sound like a goofball and I don't want to be too like existential about it, but it has been like really transformational for my career and for me personally. So I couldn't be happier that I've learned to use Codex, and I feel like I have a very good understanding of how agentic AI works now. I will say it's not perfect, it's still imperfect, but I think that my success is directly related to my number of years as a developer and knowing what to ask for, right? Really curious to see what happens here over the next several years, because I do think that junior devs are getting pushed out, and I think that's a little scary. I saw a reel yesterday on Instagram. I can't remember the creator's name. Maybe we can look at it later. Talking about, if we're not mentoring and cultivating the next generation of junior developers, I don't know what's going to happen. I fully believe that the transition to agentic AI happened so quickly and quite frankly so smoothly because everybody already knew how to write the code. I mean, yes, there's this new crop of vibe coders, but let's be real about the very, very highly skilled, experienced software engineers out there who have switched to agentic AI workflows. Why was that process so easy for them, so smooth for them? It's because they knew what they were doing. They had been writing the code for decades at this point. They know what to ask for. They know what to look for. So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. I want to see what happens next, but I don't actually know what's going to happen. So listen, I just work here. Okay. I don't know. I just work here. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. So, hey, do me a favor before we get started. If you haven't yet, would you be so kind as to like the video, subscribe if you're new here? Helps the algorithm, helps get this pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of thing. I would appreciate it. The channel's growing. I don't know if you noticed, I think probably Malik might have noticed that since I am using Codex to help me with content creation and just like YouTube and Instagram strategy, one of the things that I have Codex do when it reads my live stream transcript is pick out parts of the transcript that might be good for YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. And yesterday I was like, you know, Angela, you had Codex do this now for about 3 weeks. When are you actually going to edit some of these shorts? So I edited a bunch of shorts yesterday. I also separately after the stream filmed some reels, so I'm excited to get those edited out. And yeah, I've already seen the impact just in the last 15 hours of putting those shorts out. So we're gonna do more of that. That's happening. That's gonna happen more. So, and once again, we have to thank Malik Robinson because he not only helps me moderate the chat here during the live stream, he also helps me moderate the comments, and I really appreciate that. HBKF is here and says, hey back. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay, that's a lot of chit-chatting. If you're still here, let's get started. So yesterday we got the layout in place here. It's not fancy. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that this is a private desktop app. It's never going to be run on a mobile device. I'm never going to deploy this to a production environment or make this publicly available. I do have a version 2 of this coming in the next couple of weeks, but for now, this is for my eyes only. This will always just run on a desktop browser. So I'm telling you this because I'm not writing responsive styles. I don't need them. So we're not worrying about anything related to responsiveness. I am still being very accessibility minded because I can't not be accessibility minded at this point, which I think is a good thing. So we got the basics like structure, layout, some basic styles in here yesterday. We styled our form, we styled our buttons. So today we are going to style our results, and I would like to get some sorting in as well. We have very basic results sorting here. So this is a great example of how this works. So I search for the keyword deploy, and I don't have my entire back catalog loaded yet. I have the last 69 transcripts. Well, really it's 70. I haven't loaded yesterday's. But basically, of these 69 transcripts, there are 99,256 excerpts. Those are the timestamps from the transcripts. That's what's called an excerpt or a chunk, the ChatGPT likes to call it. We could do a keyword search. Keyword is required for the API. And then there are modes. There's a keyword search or an exact phrase. We can search excerpts or we can search video titles. We can narrow results by project, and I think there are 25 projects. So as I work my way through the back catalog, we'll have more projects here. And then every the month is the month represents when the project was finished. So if it was finished in May 2026, that's the month. It could have started earlier. It could have, started sometimes projects take me a couple of months, sometimes they take a couple of weeks. It just depends. So there's that. Okay, so if we go back to excerpts, this is where things get, I don't want to say messy, but I would say that there's a lot of information here. So what do we have? Well, first we have the top level transcript. So we have 46 results, 46 transcripts, and then any excerpt that matches that transcript gets grouped under that transcript. So we've got 2 sets of results basically. The parent result is the transcript, the child set of results are the excerpts themselves. We are highlighting the excerpt specifically. So deploy is the word that we searched for. It was found in this excerpt in the database, but we are also loading 2 excerpts before and 2 excerpts after, and that's just to give it context, because one of the things that I noticed right away when I started searching by excerpt is that it could grab an excerpt that was like literally just that word. And if that's how it came up in the transcript, that's how it got loaded into the database, but it gives me no context. Let's see if we can, what would be the best result of the or example of this, let's just do the broadest, most generic search, which is CSS, and I'll show you because it'll be highlighted. It'll take a moment here. Okay, yeah, 902 matching excerpts in basically every single transcript. Like, so this is the excerpt right here. No context. I don't know, like search CSS everywhere. Here, this is the excerpt. So being able, and some of these are transcripts literally from this project, which is like kind of funny, but a lot of this doesn't give me any context. So adding these excerpts before and after is really cool. The other thing we're doing is we are linking to the YouTube video at that timestamp. So let's see if this works. And the link should start at this point right here. So we changed it from this excerpt to excerpt number 1. So 1 second, we'll test it. And CSS especially. Okay, so we can see our excerpt. CSS is amazing. It is amazing. So you can see there, it's kind of funny. It's like linking to a video about the actual project, but you get the gist, right? So what else do we have here? So we have kind of like metadata about the excerpt or the the transcript, not the excerpt. So this is literally the YouTube database project. So this is the project name. This is the date. So we'll format the date. And this is the number of matching excerpts. Then we have just the list here. So we've got the excerpt itself. We've got the timestamp. And then this is a relevancy score. The relevancy score doesn't make a ton of sense to me because what SQLite calls relevant, I think is a little bit backwards. But we're including it anyways. And then, eventually I'll learn a bit more about this type of thing. So we'll make sure that everything looks pretty and formatted. I would today like to add sorting if I can. I'm not going to prioritize sorting today. I'm just not going to. My bigger priority is just getting the styles in place and moving on because next weekend we are going to start a new project. So, um, I think we've done enough, don't you? Don't you think we've done enough? I do. Okay, so let's start styling, shall we? It's a lot of words, I know. This looks pretty good. What do we got here? I bet this is a favicon. Yes. Okay. I have no plan for this. So let's just start doing, I have no plan. So let's just start doing some basic styles. Like these are ordered lists. Let's actually change those to let's change the top level. Does it matter? I mean, the numbers are kind of nice. Let's just start with styling. I have no plan. I just didn't put that much thought into it because I knew it was going to be private. It's my best answer. Okay. We may change some markup, but let's just start with some basic stuff first. So we know that these are unordered lists. So let's just do unordered and ordered and unordered lists. And we're just going to say padding 0, margin 0. That'll help with some formatting. Hold please. There. We don't need all the indenting. And then what is this? This is an H2, an H3. So let's do a little bit of formatting for our headings. I think I mentioned this yesterday. I really didn't do the global styles that I normally do when I start a project or a landing page, and I'm a little bit regretting that. But here we are. So I'm going to say font weight 500 because I know it's getting 700 by default, which I think is too much. I'm going to change the line height to 1.25. On the body, we have, I think we have 1.65 is what I tend to use as the default line height, but I like to tighten it up a little bit on headings. And then let's change the margin. I'm just going to put 1 rem of margin at the bottom of each heading, and I think that's going to help. Yes. And then let's change the color to our dark green color, which is barely accessible. Okay. And then, you know, we can style. I know we can style. Let's do this. I haven't done this in a while. MDN ordered lists. We can do some custom styling to those list elements. Type sets the numbering type. So we can put this type attribute on the ordered list. So let's do, we can stick with the default, and then let's do type lowercase a for lowercase letters. That's sort of typical, right? Why not? Why not? Here's our grouped results. That's the title, render title. Render transcript group. So I think we can just do matches, type equals, I guess, A, right? There we go. And then we can indent the second level a little bit, but let's maybe we can give these some table-esque styling. So let's also give this a class. So we'll say matches, class list, add, we'll call it excerpt list item, excerpt list item. And that's going to be on the OL. Nice. Now we have a way to style just this. So for this excerpt list item, excerpt, come down here. We'll give this a little bit of padding, maybe 1 rem all the way around. Well, Do we though? And also it's not an item, it's just the list. The items are the LIs. Do we really want to give padding to the whole list? Let's actually style the LIs. So we'll give the LIs some padding. And then we could like alternate them, make it sort of like table-esque, right? So we could say something like, we probably want to do odd. Can you just do odd? No. Nth of type. Odd. And then we could say something like background, color, whoops, background, color, something like this. Just spitballing here. Okay. Not what I had in mind because I wanted these to be inside. But they are markers, which is a pseudo-element. Can I move the marker? Why can't we have the marker inside? Let me, is it text align? So there's text. So here's the user agent style sheet for marker. So we've got text indent 0 pixels, text align start, text align last auto. And they all have important on them. Why? Why do they all have important on them? Okay, let's Google this. I would like it to be inside the LI. So list item marker outside the LI. Question mark, question mark. Let's see if Google can figure this one out. Okay. A list item marker sits outside the list item by default using the property list style position outside. Placing the bullet or number in the left margin area. You can control this behavior using the list style position property, which accepts 2 main values, outside, inside. CSS tricks. Hallelujah. Okay. So we're going to do inside, list style position inside. See, why would you not want to do this? I know the answer to that. I'm just saying. It's sad to me that a generation of developers may not have this experience. It's sad to me. So, yeah. So we're gonna have to, why did that not save? It did. Okay. Okay, why did that not? That didn't work. Let's see here. Oh, you have to put it on the li, not on the marker. Got it. There we go. And then, of course, this is a paragraph tag, which is by default a block level element. You can see that here, display block. It's in the user agent style sheet. But we can make that display inline block. So any paragraph tag that is inside an li in an excerpt list, we're just going to go ahead and say display inline block. And that should flow right next to the letter. That's what I would like. No, why not? Do I have to make the marker? I probably have to make the marker display inline block too. You will submit to me, list item. Do I have to make them inline? There, I had to make them inline. Okay, fine. You can see now we at least got our, you see, I made my point. Okay. Now what are we going to do? I think it would be nice to put a border around the entire thing. Again, it's going to make it a little bit like table-esque. So excerpt list will say border, 1 pixel, solid. And we'll make sure that we turn that into a variable. I think this helps. We're gonna do more here. But I think this helps separate it a little bit, right? So here's the normal size. So let's give this a little more padding. I like this because it is, like I said, table-esque. Without being a table. And it does separate things nicely. I want to change this color though. So actually let's add a new color. So I'm going to do a gray color, but I'm going to do it a little bit lighter. I'm going to do this instead. Just a smudge, a little more subtle. No. There. I don't know. Is that too subtle? Whoops. Maybe it needs to be, I feel like, what's a good in between? We know EA is darker. We know this is lighter. Thinking. How about that? Darker. So wait a second. A, B, C, D, E, F. What about E, F? Not up on my grayscale. That looks good. I like that. I need a good list of grayscale colors. Okay, let's give these a little more padding, and then let's make these capitalized instead of lowercase. Let's do capitalized. I really want them to be display inline block though. I really want them to be display inline block. Why can't I have that? Can I have one be display inline block? It makes it tough because okay, so for this I'm allowed to be display inline block, but not for the paragraph, huh? Hmm. Okay. Well, at least the marker can be display inline block, and that does give me some freedom. So let's oh, I didn't save this. Okay. So now we can style that marker a little more. Let's see here. How did I do? So this is my website. How did I do this? I don't remember. So in paragraph tags, okay, I did something called add supports initial letter 2, as in take up 2 lines. Right here. So this is a media query. Let's see if we can get this to work for the marker. I don't know if this is going to work. So we want, this feels ambitious. So we would be doing first of type, first letter. Can we do first of type marker? I don't know. So I don't need this, and I don't need this. That did not work. Oh, and we also doesn't need to be first of type. Yeah, I think it has to be first letter. Not quite what I was going for. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this now. You don't know unless you try, right? Okay, so let's just go ahead and style the marker. So it's display inline block. We'll give this a font weight of 600. We'll change the color to green. The other thing that I think might be good See, the text indent is 0, but I would like it to be why user agent style sheet. Why would you do this? Why would you not let me do that? Why does Chrome decide what I can and cannot style? So the people over at Chrome decided in the user agent style sheet to put important on this pseudo element and was like, nope, can't do it, not allowed. Why? That makes no sense. Didn't even work. Text align last. See, how do you get it to the content to indent? So this is in line, but the text is indented. Okay, so let's do this again. OLLI text alignment. Oh, padding. See, I don't think that's not going to work because it's display inline padding. Yeah, but I want everything to align. Or, oh, text align left. No, that's not what I want. Flush indentation, numbers inside. If you want the numbers to sit flush inside the content box alongside the text, set the MDN. Oh, you're supposed to put this on the OL? I thought this went on the, hang on, I put it on the LI. List style position. align text for ULL and LI. List style position. See, probably list style position is what you want because you want the marker on the outside and then you get that flush alignment. But then the whole thing doesn't get... I don't like that. That's not what I wanted. Maybe we could change the layout. So here's render the transcript group. Here's render the excerpt. Render title results. So where is the thing that comes? So we've got the heading, the details, the matches, and the path. Here's the matches. Here's the details. The path. And the relevance. Oh, the path is literally this right here. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to move this before this. So I think that's this. Excerpt, video link, relevance. So I think I just want excerpt last. Yeah, now let's do this. So let's not make this display inline anymore. I think that this works because that's an anchor element. So our marker is display inline block. Our anchor element is display inline. And then here's our relevance, which we can also make this display inline. Honestly, we could just, I mean, maybe this is fine. And we could just put, we should say what it is anyways, right? So let's, for relevance, relevance score. Should find something shorter to search for. Okay. And then we could say, for this, we could say YouTube link. YouTube link. I think this will work. Just spaces it out a little bit more. But let's also take this and move it up. It doesn't need to be down at the bottom. So the path, I think the path can just go yeah, I think that this is okay. And this does not need to be in pre-formatted. Let's see here, path. Let's just put this in paragraph tags. Oh, I suppose it was in pre-formatted code, so it would be easier to, I think the thinking was that it would be easier to copy and paste. So we just have to style it. I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm kind of getting tired of working on this project. And that is okay. Okay, I want to give this a little more padding. A little more padding. So let's give this 2 rows of padding. Yes. I just want to make it really easy to read. And then let's format our date. So where's our date? Right here's our group date. So let's do this. We'll say let style date equal, man, group date. toLocaleString, right? And then we'll do English, US, and then we'll say long, medium. Let's see here. Why am I having this losing focus problem again? toLocaleString style. Oh, we need to do, let's style date. Hang on. Did this wrong already. New date. Group date. And style date is equal to style date toLocaleString. And then we want format, no, style. Here's our formats. Here. I think we just want what's the shorthand? Come on. Options. Date. There we go. This is what I wanted. So it would be date style, I think medium. Date style, medium. There we go. So then this would be style date. I got that backwards. Okay, that works. That works. It's a lot of results. Could do long. I think long just spells out the month, right? Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so we need this to just stand out a little bit more. We need to just add a little bit of space here. I'm not going to do too much more with the excerpts themselves. You know, some of them don't start as complete sentences, but I think that's okay. Here's our link with the timestamp. Okay, let's make this stand out a little bit more. Let's see what this is here. So that's a paragraph. Let's give that a class. So this is our details right here. So I'll just say details, class list, add, and we'll just call this the details items. Something nice and semantic. Ooh, this is annoying. And Emilio is here. Welcome, Emilio. Oh. Whoops. Details. All right, there's our class. Details items. And then this is the transcript list. So I'm going to say text align center, text transform uppercase, give it a little bit of letter spacing, maybe a pixel. I'll give it a font. I'm going to change the font size to 0.9 rems. Let's take it down a little bit, and we'll give it a font weight of 500 and a color of our dark green. And then let's give it a little space above and below. And, well, maybe we don't want to align it. Well, let's go with it. Let's go with it. So we'll give it some padding. I'm going to say 1 rem on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. Margin, 1 rem on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. And then let's give it a border on the top. I'm going to say 2 pixels, solid, and we'll do our green color, and then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. Just trying to give it a little pizzazz, make it pop. Ooh, I like that. Kind of helps it stand out a little bit. Okay. Then let's style our code block here. Let's not style all of the code blocks. Let's give our code block its own class. So we'll say path, class list, add excerpt. Well, really it's the transcript, right? Transcript code path. That's really the path, right? So what is this by default? Is it display inline block? Is it display inline? I think it's display inline. So it doesn't say in the user agent style sheet what it is. I'm pretty sure code by default is display inline. It's on its own line because the paragraph is display block. So we can change that. I'm just going to change it to the transcript path. I'm going to say display inline block. I'm going to give it some padding. So I'm going to give it 0.5 rems on the top and bottom, 1 rem on the left and right, and then we'll give it a background color of, I don't know, what does our mint look like as a background color? I mean, we could make it display block. Maybe display block would look nice. And then we could give it some margin on the bottom just to push it down. This is starting to look nice. Wow. Okay, it's starting to look nice. We're gonna change this. We're gonna change this yellow. I think we're gonna change this yellow to mint. This is starting to look good. Okay, let's give this details item, it needs more padding and margin. I can just tell from the amount of margin I just added to that code block. There we go. But actually the padding is on the inside, so we're going to go back to 1 for that. Stop. Okay. I love it. I love it. Let's give this little code block a little bit, I know I'm never going to hear the end of this, border radius. Just a little bit of border radius. Just because it looks nice on a code block. There, a little bit of border radius. And then, doesn't this look nice? Okay, let's give this little background color, this yellow, let's change that to our mint. Right here. I think we just threw in yellow at the time. We can also make this display inline block. And it won't disrupt the flow. It shouldn't, famous last words. But we could just give this a teeny tiny bit of padding too. So maybe 5 pixels on the top and bottom, 10 pixels on the left and right, just to like, oh gosh darn it. Why are you putting that on your own line? I want you to not do that. Display inline block, you should stay in the flow. You know what? The reason why everything needs to be display inline block, all of the spans need to be display inline block. That's why. That's fine. So the match result is the class. So let's just do the li paragraph tags spans. So the li, the marker, do excerpt list paragraph tag span. I think we can just make all of the spans display inline block. And then this is our match result right here. We're going to move this down. This will be the exception because it's got its own class. What are you doing to me? You should all be flowing together. Why aren't you all flowing together? Do I have a fundamental misunderstanding of display inline block? I mean, that's possible. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to worry about it. I'm going to make a mental note to do a little homework. But this is looking how I want it to. We have to add a little space here, no problem. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I think this looks good. I like it. Like, what is it supposed to look like? Tell me. I like that we've got a little call out here. I think this could, I know I made that smaller. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I'm pretty close to calling this done. Let's make it bigger. I'll give it a little bit more font weight. I think the letter spacing doesn't need to be 1 pixel. Let's try a 1/2 pixel. Yeah, I like that. Let's make I think this is an H3. Let's make the H3 a little bit bigger. So up here, I'm not going to give it its own class. I'm just going to say H3, you can be a little bit bigger. So what is the font size of an H3? The user agent style sheet says 1.17 ems. We're using rems, so it's a slightly different unit of measure. So I'm going to say font size 1.5 rems. I prefer rems over ems. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. And then let's also style the marker for the top level ordered list. So the top level ordered list has an ID of results. So we can target that, the marker for the LI for the results. That's no problem. I don't normally use IDs. ChatGPT put that in when they were building the back end and doing that initial layer of JavaScript. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. So here's the transcript list. We'll say results. Whoops. a little bigger. So this is results, li, marker, and we should be able to at least style it, right? Font, weight. Well, probably want to change the font size to be the same as the H3, which was what? 1.5 rems. 1.5 rems. We'll say font weight 600 and color dark green. There. Nice. Oh, let's make it the, oh, and then we have to make sure that we're being really specific then with our inner list, our sub list. So we can, it automatically applied those styles there because I didn't have any styles to say don't do that. So that's fine. We can take care of that. But I want this to be, I put in the dark green. I want this to be just the lighter green. No problem. What color is this? I don't, what color is this? Why do they look different? Color, dark green. Oh, it was dark green. I like the inner list having the lighter green, but I like the outer list having the dark green. So we'll go back to this. This is what happens when you don't work from a mock-up, but that's fine. Helps you, this is helping me kind of flex my own UI and design styles in real time. It's a good exercise. Try it sometime. Okay, so now we've done quite a bit of styling here. So let's go back and make sure that this is not getting the font size. And I do want that to be the lighter green color. This is old. I can take that out. So it's this right here. So this is the excerpt list li marker. That should be specific enough. It's not. So it just needs the results to be specific enough. It needs more specificity. There. And then also let's make sure it's the correct size. So I'm just going to say 1 rem. I think that's what everything else is. Maybe it can be a little bigger, maybe 1.25. There. I like it. Lots of green. I think the only thing else that I really want to do here is let's put a little space in between our form. So here's our result list, the entire list. Here's the H2, here's the section. Let's just, on this section, or I guess we could just put it on the form, add some margin to the form. Just push everything down a little bit. I don't think we have forms specifically styled. So we'll just put it here. And we'll say margin 0, 0. I'm going to give it some room. Say 4 rems. Yeah. What do we think? I think we should style our links. Let's just do some generic link styles using, I guess I was going to, I said yesterday that I was going to keep blue as the link style, but let's at least, I do like the blue. Let's at least make sure that it's got a hover where maybe that underline is transitioning. And let's just in general style this. Also, we can change the color. I like blue for links, but we can change the color. So let me show you how I like to do that. We should be able to see this blue color here in the browser. You're not even going to show us the blue color? Color WebKit link. You can't even show me the color? What color is this? Okay, let's do this. Hang on. I want that color. I want the official blue color. Color contrast. Did they change that? I feel like they just changed that. They used to give you in the browser what the color was. Is this it? It could be. Pretty close. So we're going to start with the official color, and then we're going to change it up a little bit. So we'll start with that. And then I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say color. Whoops, what's happening here? Color, blue, text, decoration, underline. Well, it already has the underline. I don't think we have to display that or be that explicit. Text, decoration, color, we'll say also blue, right? Text, decoration, thickness, I'm going to say 2 pixels. Text, underline, offset, also 2 pixels. So now you can see that it's just a little thicker. And then we'll do anchor, focus, anchor, hover, anchor, active. So these are pseudo classes that help us just with styling and state, right? So if the state is focus, if the state is hover, if the state is active, then we apply styles. So we'll do text, decoration, color, transparent. So on focus, hover, active, it will be transparent. But we also want to transition that, give it a little animation. So we'll say transition, text, decoration, color, 300 milliseconds. That's just timing that I like. Ease in, out. So now we should see a nice transition here. Nice. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is text, transform, uppercase, give it a little letter spacing, 1 pixel. I think I will do a font size, 0.95 rems. There we go. And once again, I think 1 pixel is too much. That's kind of my default, but with Montserrat, this font, I think that it's a little, there we go. Okay, so now you can see that we can actually see our blue color in the browser. It's very bright. So let's deepen up this blue a little tiny bit. But we want to make sure that we're also being accessible, right? So here's our little color contrast ratio. It's right in the browser. Chrome does it right here for us. These 2 lines represent the threshold for the AA or the AAA rating. And we are well within AAA. So here's our little grabber. We can kind of move this. You can see it's getting a little more muted. So I know that that's not a huge difference, but I don't So let's do link. Whoops. See if we can just tell the difference. I don't know. I can tell the difference. So I'm just going to switch this out. I can tell. I'm just saying, I can tell. It's a little more muted, not quite as bright, not quite as harsh. What do we think? I love it. Yes, we can do some sorting. I have to be honest with you, I'm not like super in the mood right now to do anything else. Let's put some strong tags around relevance and just make that a little bit bold. Where do we have that? Relevance score. So I think what I have to do is create strong. So I'm just going to say strong equals document create element strong, and then we can say strong text content is, whoops, and then I think we can just put strong here, right? Wait, what did I do? Am I not allowed to do this? No, because it's HTML. That's why. Okay. So then I think we can just do it's inconvenient. Okay. We have to make sure. Am I allowed to put HTML inside append? Probably I just want to put, well, relevance is a paragraph tag. So probably what I want to do is, it's annoying. Hang on, this here. So I think that this should be a span. And I think we could do something like score. And then let's take these. score, append, strong, relevance, and then this would be score. And then this stays inside a set of paragraph tags. There we go. And then let's make sure that this has a space. There we go. Now let's style. You know what I don't like though? But this is display inline block, the alignment. And I know why it's doing that. It's because the underline falls beneath. I know, it's like I see a squirrel sometimes. Let's see if we can like just adjust our alignment though. We might be able to just change the line height to move it down. Hang on, spell line height. Yes, line height. Vertical align. Bottom, not quite. Middle, no. Boy, vertical align just doesn't work the way it used to. I mean, this isn't moving it at all, maybe because of the line height. It's not doing anything. Vertical align used to be like a secret weapon. But I'm finding out today that see, I feel like this should be, maybe it's just because of the font size. Do I need this to be the same font size as this? It's the underline, it's the text decoration that makes it look uneven. It doesn't matter, Angela. It doesn't matter. Okay. What was I gonna do? I think I was just gonna make this strong. A different color, and we can do that as a global style. So I'll just do that right here. Yeah. Should we make it the lighter green? Yeah. I like it. So I'm on a big monitor, 27 inches, but I often have to do at least this when I'm looking at things. I can't see anything. I think this looks great. We have very clear metadata and information about where this transcript came from. So we know it came from the 30 days of vanilla JavaScript site. This transcript is from March 30th, 2026, and there are 40 matching excerpts. And then this is the title of the video. Now let's see what the video titles. Yeah, okay, we have more styling to do. That's okay. I forgot about the titles. Let's take a break. See what the chat is up to. Monique Robinson is here and Emilio is here, both mods in the chat. Welcome. Osley is also here. So Avanish says, if something is using JavaScript, how to know if it is correct or not. If it's wrong, then how to solve. Well, it comes with experience. It just comes from experience. The best way to troubleshoot and problem solve your JavaScript is to, oh, I don't think you can see what I'm actually reading. Hang on here. The best way to troubleshoot and problem solve your JavaScript is to practice. You need to work on a lot of projects. You need to practice. It took me a really long time to learn how to troubleshoot errors with my JavaScript because I didn't practice enough. Now I practice a lot more. I do a lot more projects and it's easier for me to learn how to troubleshoot. And also, I think the developer console is very helpful. Over time, you're just going to get a sense for what the problem is and what's going on, right? Are you a full stack developer? And I see Malik answered that question. I have done many full stack projects, but I am very front end focused, especially on this channel. HRI Thick says, I can't code without looking at a reference or any AI suggested code. Yeah, again, that just takes a lot of practice to learn how. Listen, you've seen me write JavaScript. I constantly have to look at my notes for JavaScript. I constantly have to Google. HTML and CSS come much, much easier to me. I can write like 98% of my CSS I can write from memory. I've just done it a lot. Yeah. And HRI Thick says, I'm in my final year. I don't know how I am going to survive this society. Society is with a capital S. Are you just talking about the world in general or something specific? You'll survive. You'll be fine. Trust me. Even before AI, before the internet, before all those things, I thought those things when I was in my 20s too. I thought to myself, what's this bullshit? How am I going to get through this? This is life, really? You're going to be just fine. Trust me. Amelia says, going back to lurking, got to finish my final paper. 30 pages, save me. I can't save you, Emilio. I would love to, but I don't think that I can. So, and Malik responded and said, what are you getting your degree in? I felt the same way until my senior year. Most degrees just teach you the theories. It is your job to take the extra step and apply those theories and learn in depth. Truer words were never spoken. College and school introduce you to new ideas. It's just like development in courses. You take a course because you get introduced to a new idea. You learn some syntax, some rules, some basics. It's your job to take those out into the real world and learn how to use them. That is exactly right. Okay. Well, can I be honest with you and tell you I'm just not in the mood to keep styling this and that I would like to just do it myself offline? I'm kind of just done. I'm ready to be done with this project. Let's see here. What can we do quickly? I totally forgot about the videos. Completely forgot about the titles. Let's see here. I mean, the searching works amazing though, doesn't it? 3 titles. Okay. So what's already done for us? The title, the top level, the link. We can format our date. And here's our transcript. Okay, let's blast through it. We can do it. I believe in us. So these are results. Let's just put so this is results without an inner. So how would we do that? Has. What if we just put well, if we know that we're rendering a different list for just titles. So let's just put, yeah, right here. Render a transcript returned by title only search. So let's just put a class on this item, and then it'll only show up when we're rendering titles. Class list, add. So we'll call this the title item. There we go. So our title, now we'll just style those. Not that much stuff in there, right? Osloyd is asking, is it quick to do a dark mode color scheme? No, it's not. It's not hard. It's definite, but it's also not quick. I mean, I would need like another, if we were going to do a dark mode for this, I would need another full stream to do it. And Malik is saying, with new CSS features, I think it is much easier and quicker since CSS can handle the bulk of it. I mean, CSS handles dark mode beautifully. In my experience doing dark mode, it's CSS3 transitions. It's what makes it take longer is that you have to find every single class associated with a background color or a text color or a border color, and you just have to account for it in dark mode. So the work of it is the amount of time that it takes to identify all of those things. The timing also, I can just tell you when I've done it, make sure that you're not like, keep your timing very consistent or it will feel off in the browser. And then of course you have to build the toggle, and then you have to write JavaScript for the toggle, which is basically like a click event. So it's not, yeah, it's not difficult at all. It's just work. And it would take me, I mean, I would need probably a couple of hours to do it for sure. It's definitely not something I can implement in 11 minutes, but not hard at all. Definitely not hard. Couple hours, I don't know. What's your definition of quick? You tell me. What's quick, Osloy? I To me, quick is like 10 minutes. So, what were we doing? Okay, title results. And this is a title item. So we'll give this some padding. I'm going to give this padding on the padding and margin on the bottom. So we'll do, whoops, 0, 0, 1 rem, margin, 0, 0, 1 rem. And then we'll give it border, bottom. I'm going to say 3 pixels, dotted, and we'll use our green color. Give it a little space. That helps. And then we can, for our code block, if we add the class to this code block, it should just take on the same colors, right? So where is that? That is, I think yeah, transcript path right here. Oh, didn't we give this a class? Right here. There we go. We can adjust the spacing around that. So transcript path, we can adjust the spacing just for this. So we'll say title item, transcript path. I think we put, yeah, we put a lot of margin on this. So we'll just change that margin for this. And actually, we'll put a little margin on the top too. There we go. So there's our link. Honestly, there's not that much to do here, is there? So we could format our date also, which I think we could just copy what we did. Where is it? So I think we can do this. So this is result date. And then this is style date. All right. I might be done. I might be done. I'm not saying that I wouldn't ever revisit this, but I think it's a lot of green. Definitely a lot of green, but I like that we have the alternate. I like my minty background to highlight the excerpt. Oh, let's make sure that there's a little bit of margin here before this H3. So we specifically took out the margins for the H3s, but we can add it back in just for the H3. There, gives it a little room. You know, if I'm being honest, why do we even need, why does the inner list need to be ordered? It does no good. It does no good. So I'm going to change it to an unordered list. Yeah. Um, this right here. So I'm going to take this out, the match type out, and I've changed this to an unordered list. And we are going to delete those styles. We don't need them. We don't need the markers. So I think I'm going to have to take out that bullet. That's fine. So really we would just say list style type none, which means we don't need a list style position. But it's handy. There. So much cleaner. That made a huge difference. Oh, and you know what we don't need on these paragraph tags? The paragraphs are getting margin on the bottom. I don't think we need that extra margin. It just looks, yeah. So let's take out really I just want to change it so we only have margin on the top of the paragraphs. So we're going to do excerpt list, li, paragraph tags, margin, 1 rem, only on the top. There. Can you tell the difference? I love it. It looks great. We have a nice clear link with the hover. We have our relevance score. This is a little bolder than I would like, so let's just adjust the font weight for the strong. So font weight, I'm going to do 500. I think it's 700 by default. We can maybe do 600. There we go. That's a little better. I have a nice clear link. Now I'm not annoyed by the alignment of the marker and the link because the link has an underline, a text decoration. We can very clearly see what the excerpt is. We've got context for the excerpt. We've got a good separation. We don't have this pesky inner list, which was not necessary in my opinion. So if I was going to, okay, so this is, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't ever add ordering. If I was going to do a sort, buttons for a sort, I would sort by the date of the transcript. What else would I sort by? Alphabetically? How does sorting the 51 transcripts alphabetically help understand the results? Why does that make the results better? I don't think it does. I think it would be more interesting to sort by the date. I don't even think you need to sort by the project. So here's another thing. We don't need to sort by this because we can already sort by project. If it was sorting, this is sorting by month. So you get all the results for a particular month, but what if you just wanted to sort by date, ascending or descending? We could do that. So I think if I was going to sort ascending or descending the transcripts themselves, it would be by date. Within the transcript, if I was going to sort these, I think I would sort. So right now the default is, it's called chunk ordinal, which is just literally the order in which it appears in the transcript. So maybe we could do ascending, descending, transcript order or chunk ordinal, and ascending or descending relevance score. Those are the only, otherwise, how else does it help me? I question relevance score even being all that helpful because I disagree with how it calculates the relevance. To me, it's not relevant. It's so much more literal. But having this appear in order, in the order in which they appear, it works. It works. I don't feel like, I don't know, this all just works. I feel like it's all working. So, yeah. So I'm having a thought of maybe one other thing I want to do. So for this code, what if we made this background dark green and the text white? So it's the match results. So what if we did dark green and color white? Oh, wrong one. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to do the code block. Where is that? It's the transcript path, right? Right here. So what if this was dark green and the color was white? I like it. So then we don't, it just leaves the minty lighter green color for, yeah, I like that a lot, actually. It's a lot of green. I know, it's a lot of green. I like this. This is cool. And it gives me some ideas for, we're going to do a version 2 of this API, this and rebuild this on my website. So I feel like this was sort of this is a test run, if you will. It also gives me a chance to use the database and think about functionality for version 2 once we get to it, right? Yeah. This also gives me some time this week to think about what we're going to do for our next database. So next weekend, oh, and Osloy said quick is like 10 minutes. I thought maybe it would fill the remainder of the current stream. Oh yeah, no. Wouldn't that be amazing if I could do a theme switcher in 10 minutes? I could maybe get Codex to do a theme switcher in 10 minutes, but I think ChatGPT and Codex are getting much, much better at CSS. Much better at CSS. But you know me, I like to do it myself. So yeah. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Next weekend, we are going to vibe code the back end of another full stack app. It's going to be similar to this, but not exactly the same. I've already started working on the requirements. I already started getting the project ready. I have downloaded all of Jane Austen's books from Project Gutenberg. She's been dead for 200 years. All of her books are in the public domain. I downloaded plain text copy. I've gone through and had Codex scrape all the metadata that I want to put into a database. So we're going to build a database. It's going to be very similar to this, where you search for a phrase or a keyword, and then it's going to take you to that it's going to load a chapter in the browser, take you to that part of the book, highlight it, right? And then it's also going to be an e-reader experience, and this will be deployed live. And the e-reader part of this, it's all CSS. So Osloy, if you're curious about things like theme switchers and things like that, the next project, we are really going to lean into that with being able to switch font sizes, different fonts, different font sizes, line height, color schemes, things like that. I really want to lean into it. So it's going to be very similar to the YouTube transcript database, but it's going to be an e-reader experience, and I'm pretty excited about it, and it will be deployed. So I have a domain name. I haven't bought it yet. I'm still thinking about it. It's still available. I checked today and make sure it's still available. But it is going to be deployed. Now, the difference is it's going to be SQLite, which is what we did for this, but it's going to be an Express server. So it's going to be a little bit different. That Express server is going to do two things. It's going to do the Jane Austen database. We're also going to use the Express server to make version 2 of the YouTube transcript database to rebuild on my personal website. So those are our next two projects, and I'm very much looking forward to building an Express server, because I want to start pulling in API keys but being able to hide those credentials and put in course policies and things like that. So and we should be able to do all of that with Express. And I genuinely love Express. And then I can still build, once I have my API, I can do whatever I want on the front end. I can stay vanilla because that's what I like doing. So as far as I'm concerned, I compromise nothing by getting AI to do a back end, get a little help with an Express server, put in, build our own APIs, but also I can finally like pull in an Instagram API. Maybe we'll pull in the eBay API. Maybe we'll pull in, I don't know. I've got ideas. I have lots of ideas. So I think that's it for today. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, would you please like the video? Subscribe if you're new here. I'm here every weekend, usually around 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I was a little late. Was I late yesterday too? Sometimes I'm late, but I'm here. I always show up. And I often pop in during the week. In fact, I am going to be here on Friday. So I'm going to be off until Friday. Think of Friday as another requirements gathering today, where we're doing the project setup. We're writing all of our requirements. We're getting ready to prompt, and I fully expect that we will have our database built next weekend. We learned so much doing this database, the changes that we needed to make afterward. I hope we don't have the same experience, because I feel like from doing this, I know what I need to ask for, and we're going to try to get all of those requirements written on Friday this next week. So, and I'll be here around noon. Usually when I go live on a Friday, it's around noon time. So there's that. Yeah, and liking and subscribing, it helps the algorithm. It helps get this pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. It helps the channel grow and all of those good things. So with that being said, everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.